Hey now, welcome to Gen Lab. I'm Darren.
I'm Greg, the dud in the middle. Shout out to Mackie.
And I'm Jasmine, the hot bitch.
Oh my. Oh my. Oh my. Okay.
That's awesome. So anyway, welcome everyone. What we do here at Gen Lab is we throw out topics and we have guests on and we kind of dissect how different generations look at different things. That's the kind of general overview. Today, Greg brought the guest, so I'm going to turn it over to Greg to introduce the guest, and we're going to get rolling.
Okay. Hey, thank you, Darren. Hey, first of all, we have a couple of PSA. So let's go through a couple of public service announcements.
The more you know.
The first one, the more you know. The first one comes from Maria's Cafe in Godley, Texas. By the way, I highly recommend the salsa. I'm allergic to tomatoes, but I ate it anyway because it was fantastic.
How allergic?
Are they a sponsor?
No, but they might be one day.
Someday.
It's really
when
good.
You get that.
If you go to Godley, Texas, try the
Where
homemade
is that?
salsa.
Is
there.
that anywhere?
Yeah. Texas is like the size of like Russia.
The world.
Where is
Godley,
Where?
Texas. Just look it up. Yeah. It's
like
boy.
nearest to Houston, nearest to
Now we have homework.
near Fort Worth.
Okay, yep. Dallas Fort Worth area would have been helpful.
Yeah. So anyway, so
Hey,
there's
I'm going
this.
to Dallas. I'm going to Dallas next week. Oh, you want to do a PSA?
Good.
Continue.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Uh-oh.
Did we lose him? We did.
Oh, no.
His computer crashed again. He's gonna have to blow on the back like a Nintendo cartridge. Well, hey Dan, this is Dan. Dan.
This is your expense.
Dan, how do you and Greg know each other? I guess we'll just take the reins on this one because
That's a good question.
Yeah, we're going to ask Dan how he knows Greg. We'll do that.
Greg, are you back on? Are you going to be able to verify this?
Yes, please proceed.
yeah,
Very
we've
good.
got our fact checkers on it. So
Okay. So my family and I moved to the Weatherford area in September. And you might know Greg lives in this area as well. And we attend the same church together. Greg was one of the first people I've met. And I don't know, kind of like glue. We just kind of stuck.
Just like glue.
Just like
glue. Yeah, just
All
like
right.
glue. Hey, so, yeah, I'm sorry about my technical difficulties. I really need new internet out here. I need to find out who.
Is that an accident or
No, I was.
You meant to.
It just took a minute to get to
That's so
appreciating Dan.
Okay, I see. Thank you, Dan, for sharing. So Greg, I was saying if you need to, you could try blowing on it, like you would do with those cartridges. Did you ever play Nintendo 64? Is that's after maybe your time?
Oh man,
You guys were like
yes.
Pong and stuff, huh?
yeah,
Snake.
Pong and stuff.
No,
Yeah,
I
You
had
probably
that
don't
stuff.
know what.
I think Greg was
what-
blowing something else other than video games. I don't know.
What? And
I'm
No.
kidding. I'm kidding.
that was not me. That was not me.
I kid.
Hey,
I
so-
kid.
All right. So the PSA. Are you guys ready for the PSA?
I guess.
Okay.
Darren.
So Maria,
Sorry.
can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So
I think we're gonna have a lot of
Maria's-
editing on this one.
Maria's had a hand washing habits sign, and
Oh,
it
boy.
says good health, whatever is in your hands or something. And how is America washing their hands? I found it interesting. If you look through these are kind of instances that you should wash your hands, I suppose. One of them at the bottom, 95% of people wash their hands after going to a public restroom.
I disagree. I disagree.
Okay.
Yeah, this has
Yeah.
been talked about.
Fair.
Anecdotally, since I've moved here, just what I've seen is probably close to about 50%.
man. You
Yeah,
you
maybe
yeah.
60% generously, which is unfortunate.
I've heard that it's like 60% of men wash their hands after going to the restroom, pee specifically, but so that's why I don't shake men's hands in public settings anymore, because there's a good chance you have penis hands.
Yeah, well, fair. And you shouldn't shake them in private settings either, because look at the one in the top right there.
That's a good
After
point.
using the bathroom in your own home, it's a lesser percentage. So if it's only 60%, if these numbers aren't right or accurate, then yeah,
Yeah,
in your
who are
home
they
is even
polling?
worse.
I don't trust these people.
I don't know, but I asked a dude one day who was coming out of the restroom and said, "Dude, you didn't wash your hands. What's up, bro?" And he said, "I didn't touch anything." I'm like, "What are you talking about? You didn't touch anything." What do you mean you didn't
No,
touch
we've talked
anything?
about this before, because Darren said he can do that, and I just don't see how. I mean, I don't know how it all works, but I feel like that's not possible.
I want to say I do wash my hands, and the 99% of the people I see, they do wash their hands. Greg told me a story. He chased a guy out of the bathroom because he didn't wash his hands. I think it was Greg. Chased him, and he went into towards the kitchen. Then he washed his hands in the kitchen. Is that right?
He did. That was at
Do
a
I have
barbecue
that right?
joint. Yeah, that's correct. And he
Still not a
Yeah.
good look. That's
because he worked there. I was that guy can't leave and not wash his hands because he's going to
like,
prepare
think
my
about the
food.
things he
Right?
was touching between the bathroom
True,
and
the door to the kitchen.
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt.
I mean,
the
whatever.
faucet in the kitchen. Yeah.
I figure we live in a world that's very, very clean. We're doing pretty good.
What I've seen is at least here where I live, I see a lot of hand washing. So, I don't know. I don't know where
More
you guys
than
are hanging
Louisiana. More
I
than
think
Louisiana.
Darren just keeps classier company maybe than the rest of us. Because I'm sticking to that 50 to 60%. I think really if you're in a bathroom at all, just as a good faith gesture to everybody else, you should probably just wash your hands anyway, right?
I
just
mean, at least
that's
pretend.
the PSA. That's the PSA.
That is not hard to just like turn on the water and
just
do
it.
the show. Do the show.
Do it.
Yeah, thank
just
you.
So those around you don't have anxiety when they're looking at you.
And a good test would be in your own home, remove the soap or completely empty it out and just see if anyone says anything.
Or turn the water off at the underneath the sink.
Oh, yeah, even better.
Yeah,
like they didn't even try.
All right, well, so next question. It's unrelated.
Just wait outside the bathroom looking like.
If you're in a restaurant and you go into the restroom and there's no soap, are you going to eat there? Because the chef's been in there, your waiter's been in there.
I don't know if I would have put that together, actually. Because I've been in a lot of places where the soap is not working.
I'm probably walking out or I'm telling them that there's no soap.
Yeah, that's good.
And
I
making
like
sure
that.
some gets there. Yeah.
Now I'm walking out.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree.
Well,
It's been like that for how long, right?
What if you've already ordered and you went, what if you didn't go to the restroom right away?
What if you have already eaten? You're like about to pay. You had to go to the bathroom and you go in. There's no soap. What do? How freaked out are you?
So after I calm myself down with some self-affirmations, then I might tell somebody and perhaps ask for a discount, get my money back.
Right. There's no soap in the bathroom. I don't know how the women's bathroom looks, but yeah, no, I think that's a good idea.
But if it's before I order, unless I see them usher all the staff in there to wash their hands, I've got no faith that this happened correctly.
I am not the money back person, though. I will never. They could undercook and then overcook my steak.
Man, no.
Give me the wrong meal, give me an allergic reaction, and I would still be like, "Thank you so much." And tip.
What about the gift card? Did you ask for a gift card?
That's the way Amy is too.
I would never I would never say anything. Never.
No, you need. No, then
I'm
don't
not
go
that
to dinner with
person.
me then.
Now, there was one time where that wasn't true, and it was on Darren's birthday. Do you remember?
I remember the office all went out on my birthday and we got in trouble for it, but I don't remember a situation at the restaurant.
We went to a Louisiana Cajun restaurant in Fayetteville, and
and
we
didn't
walked
eat there.
in. Well, we tried calling twice. They didn't answer the phone. We walked in and we had a group of 8 or 10. And we were like, okay, can we get a table? And they had pretty much nobody in there. There were 2 tables in there, of 2 or 3 people. And they were like, ooh, you really should have called ahead. I was like, okay, well, we did twice and you guys didn't answer. So are you going to sit us or not? And they just looked at us and I was like, would it be better if we left right now? They're like, yeah. I was like, okay.
Man,
so we all left.
She turned on that hill so fast and went down those stairs. I forgot about that. I don't even think of that because that's not where we ended up eating. So yeah, that did happen.
I guess I was
It's
just, I think
ridiculous.
if it comes to like somebody else, I will put up a fight. Like if my kids got something wrong, I would say something.
Oh, Jasmine's
But-
going to fight. Jasmine's going to
Oh, yeah.
protect her
Yeah.
people. I've
I
seen
learned that this week.
and
I learned that
yes,
this week. Mhm.
But-
yes,
Mhm.
she's like that.
But say whatever you want about me. I really don't give a shit about that. So
Okay,
I
so-
don't care. Sorry.
That leads. So
Leave
the
it.
the
Said so much worse
PSA that you
already.
guys have talked about. It leads us to a poll question for the group. And so this poll question will start with Jasmine, and we'll just go to the boys after
Okay.
that. Okay. So
Mhm.
when you're standing at the urinal,
Yeah. Okay, I'm
do-
there.
Do you unbuckle, unbutton, unzip, pull down, and pee, or do you unzip, uncover, and pee? You can
Pull
answer for
down,
Matt.
like a
You can answer
like
for-
a
like
like a little boy
your
where your butt
underwear.
is like no, but
just in the
okay,
front.
so
Just
no,
in the
but I
front.
will say this. That sounds right. But
That's
I would
funny.
completely take it down, like all the way down to the ankles. I do know that one time it was in Colorado Springs, and we were going up the Pike, the railway, or Cog Railway, and the way their bathroom is made or positioned is horrible. Okay, they open the door. Someone opens the door to go in, and there's a guy standing there with his just, all just free open, peeing in the urinal. Like the urinal was right in front of the door. This poor guy, and he was probably special ed, maybe. I don't know exactly, but he looked like he was just looking at me with his dick in his hand. It was so awkward. So that's all I know.
What
Okay,
kind of
all right,
bathroom
so-
are you in?
I wasn't in the bathroom. I was standing outside just waiting my turn to get on the railway. And I just looked over, and there's a guy with a yeah,
And the
But
urinal's
thanks-
right there in the public?
in
Well,
front of the door.
It's Colorado.
It's like
It's
like
pretty free.
the door and the urinal's right here. And the guy just like turned and looked like he was just shocked that somebody was watching him.
Made your day.
So Darren, what about you? Do you use the fly, or do you
Okay.
unbuckle and?
It depends. And honestly, this actually went through my head the last few days. So sometimes I have a newer belt
Okay.
and it's stiffer. But sometimes I need to make sure I get the most out of my trip to the bathroom. So if I'm in a concert, if I'm on a trip where I'm driving a long way, whatever. So I'm unbuckling and I'm loosening everything up, and I'm letting everything out as I can. Now, if it's a quick, no big deal, maybe I don't unbuckle and all that. Maybe I just use the zipper. It depends. It depends on how much I need to make of that trip to the restroom.
Is this like a functional thing, or is that more just mentality? Like if I'm going in all the way, or do you have to completely undo to
I don't.
let it
I
all out?
don't.
Because you pee a lot.
Thank you for that. My boss that I've been riding around
We're
with all
old.
week would concur. He's like, "Really? Well, you want me
Yeah.
to pull over again?" So, if I unbuckle the belt and undo everything, like do the little boy action, I don't do that. That's a joke. I feel like a lot more gets out. If I just do the zip,
Mhm.
it's not as of a complete
Not a good a flow?
transaction. Right. If that makes any
Because
sense.
you're old. Yeah, it's because you're old. Once you get past 40 something, it's not as good a flow. So yeah, and I unbuckle, unbutton, unzip. Yeah, I do the whole thing. I never go through the fly hole ever, except maybe if I'm hunting
I will
because
sometimes.
because you're
Because it's cold.
no because
Oh.
you have like one of those a onesie
Mhm.
on.
Oh.
Okay,
don't
there's
call it
not
onesie.
the equivalent of this in women's speak would be if you wear shapewear, like sometimes you'll wear, if you're wearing like
Exactly.
Spanx.
Yeah.
a shimmery dress, you'll wear Spanx or something, and they have this fucking gusset at the bottom that like opens up. But how are you supposed to like aim that?
Oh, I have
No,
no idea.
it doesn't
It's
work.
First I've heard of
I
this.
I've never tried it. Maybe it's easier than it seems, but anyways, that's the
Hashtag
equivalent.
gusset.
And Dan, what
Dan.
about you?
Well, I'm
Go,
glad. I'm
sis.
glad that we're getting the important questions out of the way early. So thanks for
Yes.
the question. That's good.
Yes. It's a get to know.
That's very good. So, I mean, is there a option E where we say none of the above? The real play
Yes.
for me is when possible to use the stall, and you're learning more maybe than you had initially asked for. But
No, that's
before
good.
the advent of the splash hog, you know about the splash hog? It's that piece they put at the bottom of the urinal that's supposed to absorb the splash so you don't wear
Yeah.
half
Yeah.
of
the
it.
net thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes, very
Yeah.
familiar.
The
Yeah.
splash hog, right?
Uh,
So before that became more prevalent, I would always use the stall because I was just keenly aware
Oh,
of the recoil or the
yeah.
splashback. Yeah,
Yeah. So
What
I
is the
still use the stall, but I still use this. I still unbutton.
I
Yeah.
do as well.
I'm
Yeah, I
a
never use the
stall
fly
guy.
hole.
Yeah.
Does
Okay.
anybody sit?
No, but all the guys on the fan on the
Nobody
radio
would admit
station
to that.
do. Yeah, they
What?
do. They admit to it. Yeah, all of them
Oh,
do. And
To
I couldn't
pee?
believe it. But
yeah.
yeah, and they said it's because they don't want to have to clean up. I guess their wives complain about them.
That's it. Well, see,
Yeah.
I had a friend who was telling me, "Hey, I have a guest in my house. They've been here for a number of weeks, and they're always peeing all over the floor."
Oh,
And this
that's
is
killer.
a female. I said, no, he's not peeing on the floor. You just need to understand the physics of this. If you were to stand, let's say, 24 to 36 inches above a body of water and just pour
Mm-hmm.
water into that, of course there's going to be splash out. So he's not peeing on the floor. This is just the normal physics of going to the bathroom standing up.
Well, that's good to know because I have two young boys and
Oh, the
I
boys pee
have
on the
to.
floor. Oh, they
When I
pee
go
on the
to
floor.
their bathroom to clean, like around the toilet, it's not like the rim. It's it's like
Oh, they pee
deep
on the
cleaning
floor.
under around the sides, those little like side things. Oh my gosh. Like, and so that's good to know that they're not just.
So I would say
Oh
this.
no, the boys are peeing on the floor.
They
For
will,
sure.
and they'll make a game out of it too. Like I would recommend if you have a
What?
trash can next to the toilet, get that away from the
No, we
toilet.
don't. We don't
That's
have
good.
that upstairs.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's smart.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if you
Yeah.
have two young boys, any receptacle,
They
one's
just
as
like
good as the other.
it's just like for funsies, like aim target practice. I have seen those little like bullseyes or whatever that you can put in your toilet, which just another thing to clean. But anyways,
So moving on to PSA number 2. Thank you guys for the poll answers. And I
you're
would
welcome. I
ask
hope that was insightful, and I want to know what the results are.
it was insightful. Hey, and I would recommend that our guests, any audience, please send us some comments. We want to hear what your poll answers are, and like us and share us. We would appreciate that. And then PSA number 2 is regarding Jasmine. If she cusses a blue streak at some point, which has already kind of happened
We already
during
need
the
a
show,
PSA.
it's either we're not sure, but it's either from her term in the military. She was in the Army for a term,
Thank
or
you.
related to her. She has a slight case of Tourette's, I think. But either way,
Yeah, it's the Tourette's. No, I
So-
don't. Look, I don't know who in this day and age is not cussing. Who's not cussing?
that would be me.
You don't at all?
No, no.
Really?
Have you ever heard me cuss? No.
I mean, is like what's the worst word you say?
Can you give me a not
Like
bad word?
crap. I don't know.
Like,
Okay.
Do we
Okay.
get
I
a
can
by
do
golly
crap.
every now and then, Greg?
Yeah, a fiddlesticks maybe.
No fiddlesticks. Maybe shoot or
Shucks.
oh
Shoot.
man.
Anytime you've
nabbit.
done like the Good Place bit where it's like bullshit, nothing like that.
Not that.
Darren, you're
no.
awfully quiet about this.
Yeah, we can see you being all muddy over there, but yeah.
Yeah, it's like a filter. You look groovy.
Yeah.
Oh no, we lost him
Oh, it's
completely.
gone. But Dan shows up much more clear when Darren
And I
left.
will just formally apologize. I'm working on the cursing. I need to stop. I know it's filthy. Sorry.
It's okay. But as long as we have a public service announcement. So the public in this instance would be Dan.
I
Sorry,
appreciate that.
Dan.
Thanks for the heads
Yeah.
up.
Yeah, no. I
Sorry.
kind of got there late. I should have done that one first, I guess.
Yeah, because you knew it was coming. Oh,
I didn't
man.
realize that we were going to
I'm
have
going to
a...
do myself a favor and stop saying bad words for the rest of this one. Although this is like a 7% alcoholic beverage, and that's when it really does come out for me. So we'll do our best.
Well, we've done the PSA, so it's okay. I mean,
Maybe
you know.
I need a swear jar, Greg.
Oh, okay. That would be great. I will. So I'll tell you what. We have a bumper sticker quiz. Now, I hope that that Darren could make it back.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, I think he would appreciate the quiz for sure. So someone else is sharing the screen, which I don't think is the case. But so I would show you the bumper sticker, but I'm just going to read it to
Darren's
you,
texting.
okay?
Okay.
Oh, is he texting? Okay.
He says he's dead in the water.
Oh man, we will miss Darren for sure.
Should I send him
Literally
the
or
link?
figuratively?
We can. Well,
You know Darren better
Figuratively
than I
miss
do.
him. Dead in the water. I think he's having
could be
technical
literal.
difficulties, and he doesn't know how to undo that.
He told us he had a near-death experience recently, and that's another show. So I recommend that you come watch that one. It was pretty good, Dan.
Okay.
We thought he was joking.
With Darren, it's a little scary because he didn't, when he came to me, know how to type in a bracket. Okay, you guys, and I love
Did he
Darren.
type in a bracket?
Yeah,
He didn't know how to type a bracket.
He's come so far, I will say. But like when he came to me and I was like, "Can you go get this? Is your password?" I set up his password for his email, and because he worked for me at one point, and he left for like 25 minutes, and he came back into my office, and he was like, "I just cannot figure out what this thing is. What is this symbol?" And he came back. It was the bracket. I was like, "You've just been trying to type in the password this whole time." I love him. He's the best. Oh my gosh.
But he didn't give up. That's the takeaway.
No, he didn't. And he learned how to do all sorts of things and even navigate a spreadsheet. So I'm very proud of the progress that was made there. And he was like, I can put all sorts of things on my resume now. But to be fair, as a real estate agent, he had people to do things for him. So he didn't really have to think about it.
That's a luxury that not many enjoy.
Yes,
not having to type.
People.
Yeah.
Right, not having to type.
Yeah.
Or know of a bracket.
That might be another topic in itself. Like things that Darren has, or people that Darren has to do things for him. Like what normal things or what things we take for granted that Darren doesn't have to do or didn't have to do at some point in life.
Well, poor Darren now is he's dealing with the move situation, right? So I don't know how much he wants to share about that, anyways. But so he's doing a lot more on his own now. For now.
Yeah. They're his girl.
Comfortable. Let's see if he can get back on here.
Yeah. So while we're waiting on him, we'll kind of kill this section probably.
Mm-hmm.
But why don't you guys do your bingo cards for each person? I'm gonna do my bingo. Yeah, I'm gonna do my bingo card.
Mm-hmm. Actually, like write up my bingo card here.
Turn it all off and back on again. That's what I just told him. Same thing.
Well, you said reboot. I don't know.
Oh, he doesn't know what that means.
I don't know.
I got you. I
don't know if he knows exactly what that is.
So I'm gonna do my bingo card for Dan to see if I.
Okay, I don't know Dan well enough. I would say, right now, glasses, bathroom stall, agreeing with Darren. That's all I know.
Goes to church.
Goes to church, right? Mm-hmm.
Goes to church. So the glasses, that's a 50-50 proposition. General OCD related to the bathroom, that's on the card for sure.
Okay.
Yeah. So my wife says I'm a germaphobe. I don't think it's necessarily germophobia. It's just more like I like to keep it separate, right? So there's like dirty spaces and clean spaces. Does that make sense? Bifurcate the two, keep them separate. Never the twain shall meet. So
now, do you have examples of dirty and clean as like eating dirty or clean?
So, like, for example, like you might think that a germaphobe would have issue with mucking like a horse stall, right?
Okay.
I have no issue.
That's more of a Texas thing than I think where I'm come from.
Good enough. I'm not from Texas either.
What does that mean?
I'm not from Texas either. But so in any event, so you might think like, all right, he wouldn't do that. He's a germaphobe. I have no issue with that. But the clothes that I was wearing when I was mucking said stall, they're staying in the garage. Or they're going right into the washing machine.
So when you see like a nurse at Planet Fitness after work, you're like, out. I'm out. Yeah. I am, and I'm not even a germaphobe. So I agree.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. So you're not afraid to get your hands dirty, but you're like, I'm going to wash my hands 12 times after that.
Right.
That's why you agree with me on the hand washing.
On the hand washing. So when there's been some type of exposure, something that I've touched or something that like I wouldn't want to spread around. I've been told that I walk around like a surgeon, right? Hands up in the air. like this until
Sterile.
until I get to the washing station. Absolutely.
Yep.
And oftentimes that's after just shaking hands too. I'll keep my hands off myself, off of other
I
people.
started doing the fist bump. I think during COVID that I really wish that some of the things that we had established during COVID had stuck around, like not coughing in public, wearing masks when you're sick, washing your flipping hands. Look at that. I stopped
Wow.
myself.
Mhm.
Things like that, or the fist bump, which was another one that I really appreciated.
I like the
Elbows.
kiss better. The kiss on the cheek is a lot better than the
That's
handshake.
more dirty.
Or what? No.
Well, so
I don't
let me
know.
ask you this question though:
Okay.
if you're in a meeting, a group setting with a bunch of
Yeah,
people,
are you gonna kiss them?
well, if you see somebody sneeze during the
Mm.
meeting, are you keeping receipts? It's like, oh, I know Greg sneezed, and so if he shakes my hand later, I know I got to wash up.
Oh yeah.
Right? The meeting could be an
Mentally.
hour, but if it ends and he goes for the handshake, I'm going right to the bathroom.
That's the first thing, that would come
I'm keeping
into
receipts.
my mind. Yeah,
Keeping
absolutely.
receipts. Absolutely.
Coughing, sneezing, all
Picking
that.
your
Somebody's
ear.
echoing.
Yeah, let me.
Picking ears, nose wipes.
Ew. Oh well, and I'm somebody though that touches my face a lot, so I'm
Yes, you need
probably
to wash your
guilty of
hands a
that.
lot. Yeah. So Darren, we were just doing our
I'm glad you're. And we're back. All right.
Fantastic. So this is a live show, but we run it as a live show. It's not a live show. We run it as a live show, so we don't do many edits, but that will be edited for sure. All right, so I'm glad we went through PSA number 2. Like I said, I wish that would have been number 1, but we do have a bumper sticker quiz. All right. Okay, I think
Are
I
you
have.
taking pictures of us again?
You were frozen. Your eyes were huge, so I was
Do
trying to
you
get it.
know that you can take a screenshot?
Look,
I love it. Dan,
it's fine.
I'm constantly getting pictures of the screen from their phone. It's awesome. Okay.
Making an album of it.
So this
I
is our
think it's
bumper
all this
sticker
extra
quiz.
stuff that's messing us up.
So I want.
Okay, wait.
So,
I know this.
okay, wait.
Everyone
no,
inside the
you
car
can't say
was
anything. Can't say
fine.
anything yet. This is a quiz. Wait a second.
Oh, I know what this is.
She will know this.
Wait. So I have some money in my pocket, and for the first
What's
person,
that, $1?
Well, it's a few dollars.
Oh, that's a lot. Okay, I thought it was like
Okay.
$1. I got one.
So whoever can read what's on the screen, tell me what show it's from, and tell me what the circumstance was, will get this $1 off the top of this pile.
When do we get to go?
So I'll say 3, 2, 1, and then whoever buzzes in first. 3, 2, 1.
The Office.
Okay, you got to read it first.
Oh, everyone inside the car was fine. Stanley. That's how he says it. It was Michael Scott when he hit Meredith with his car, and then he was going to go drive, I believe, to the karate dojo for the fight. Maybe. No, to go see Meredith in the hospital. That's what it was.
Yeah.
So I want that $1.
I will Venmo it to you later.
Thank you.
And I didn't try because Greg and I went into deep detail about this bumper sticker before, so I was taking myself out.
That's very fair of you, Darren. Dan, do you watch The Office?
I do, but unfortunately, my mind just initially went to Stanley Cups. I was like, is this some type of play on Stanley Cup? What's the joke about Stanley Cups?
Right. No,
That's
I read it
They have
initially,
lead.
and I've... What?
Piper said
That's
that
a
she heard
problem.
Stanley Cups have lead. Yeah, I know. Everybody drinks out of them.
I drink out of them constantly.
Yeah.
It's
Pretty much the only way I drink water.
Yeah.
What do you call it? It's one of those things.
So now we have the fluoride, the lead.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I forget what they're called.
So-
Okay.
So Dan's
Glass
water doesn't have
conspiracy
fluoride either. Just FYI.
Yeah,
What was that?
Dan's water doesn't have fluoride either.
no. Can't
That's
drink
why
out
it's
of
so
anything
smart.
now.
No, you
Yeah.
really
That's why he's
can't
so
because
smart.
everything's got plastics or... Oh, yeah, Dan, we heard your IQ is like 180. What is
We
it?
didn't talk about his IQ.
Oh,
I don't know if it's ever officially been measured. Whatever
Oh.
Greg told you is probably within the margin of error, though. How's that?
That's
Oh,
right. Thank you.
sounds
Dan.
smart.
Yeah.
Whatever you're saying. Okay, great. Well, so I passed my office test. Is that what you said?
Yes, you win. So you win the $1. I'll Venmo it to you later. If you can give me your last name and address, I'll just mail
I
it
will
to you.
not be giving that to you
Oh no.
on this. You can have it, not
Okay.
not here.
The
Darren,
strange
you're so
white,
quiet.
strange white. I'm struggling over here. I'm having technical problems. As soon as that address gets sent, there's a strange white panel van that keeps driving by really slowly. Is my
I'll
guess.
tell you as soon as I move. I'm about to move.
Yeah,
Maybe.
Venmo's
We'll
good.
see. Yeah.
So when you and Matt come to Dallas, be sure and say hello.
Okay. That sounds good.
Yeah.
We'll have all
Oh
of the
yeah.
kids and the
So
dog.
I was in Jasmine. I was
fantastic.
in Dallas the other day, about a month ago, and Jasmine was like, "Are you going to go see Greg?" Blah blah blah. I was like, "Greg, to go see Greg would be like a 2-hour journey from where I am, so it's
I would
really
have
out of the
made the
way."
2-hour
Jasmine.
journey.
I always thought
I
that
would have made the 2-hour journey
Fort
to see
Worth was
him.
close to Dallas. Is that not the case?
Yeah, but I live on the other west side of Fort Worth. It's 2 hours. But
Yeah, I was
if
there for a
I would
concert.
have come
I
to
was
see
there for a
him,
Well,
very short
you
time.
go an hour, and
no,
it's only
I would
an
have made
hour.
the 2 hours.
You would have gone the
made-
whole 2 hours,
Oh
and
yeah,
that's
the whole
saying
2 hours.
something, Darren,
The whole
because
2 hours.
he didn't want to put $8
He
in for.
lies. He lies.
That's not true.
He had a
I'm
pickle
kidding.
match and he couldn't make it or something.
You play pickleball.
No, I play tennis. Mariana plays pickleball.
Oh, excuse me.
mhm.
Sorry.
Yeah, well, that says a lot about you right now. Okay, let's go. What's our next
So,
topic?
Okay.
yeah, what's some of the topics? I haven't even heard what they are yet.
So the main topic for the day is nothing deep. It is the non-linear paths of life. How about that?
Hmm.
Unexpected turns in life that guide us to our present place.
Are you crying?
Yeah.
Who?
Yeah.
You. The
Hashtag you.
tears.
So I don't know about, I will tell you this is my favorite episode, only because I have 3 of the 4 of my 4 favorite people in the world at this moment on this next hour that we're sharing together. So
It's your favorite
Aw.
episode because I disappeared for 40 minutes.
well, that's part of it.
Yeah, Darren's gone from half of it. It's great. Okay, so the non-linear paths of life.
Yes, the nonlinear paths
You
of
might
life.
need to do a definition of that. I have a feeling
Yeah.
I know what it is, but for the dumbasses in the crowd.
Dan, you want to start with your paths?
Yeah, so I mean, where does this come from? In the work that I do, and maybe we'll have an opportunity to get to that. Oftentimes I'll ask people, well, how did you get to where you are today? You're in real estate. How'd you get there? You're an accountant. Why are you there? Et cetera, et cetera. And to date, no one has ever told me, when I was 8 years old, I found out what accounting was, and I've wanted to be an accountant ever since, right? There's no linear path typically to where people end up. It's filled with setbacks, twists, turns, etc. But we get someplace, and that journey is interesting to me. And I think it's what makes life interesting. Like, how did you get to where you are? Whether it be geographically, it could be in your career, it could be in your personal life. Why did you marry the person that you married, etc.? Were you looking for that type of individual, etc.? It's those types of turns in the road that I think are interesting and keep life, fun, interesting. And like I said, I mean, it pertains to a host of different characteristics of life, right?
Mhm.
Very interesting. Very interesting. And honestly, it gives somebody a chance to really go deep into talking about themselves. And most people love talking about themselves. So
That is true.
it's awesome.
I know I do. Okay, so Dan, can you tell me what do you do for work? Or,
What do I
or
do?
if you want to share that.
Yeah, so I am an attorney by trade, but I work as a mediator now. And 90% of what I do is working with companies and their union partners helping them to resolve labor conflict. So it could be that they're in collective bargaining, trying to get a contract wrapped up, headed toward a work stoppage, like a strike, for example. And so I come in as a third party neutral to try and assist them to get their agreement together. Or I'll help them with training, I'll help them resolve grievances, individual disputes that take place between employees and companies, etc. It's kind of like being a contractor or a consultant in some ways.
Yeah.
And focusing on labor disputes and labor relations issues. And I mean, to the topic, not something that I ever envisioned doing, not something I ever aspired to do, but something that I found along the way.
And this is before it goes to like a lawsuit.
Yeah, typically before there's formal litigation. Yes.
Okay.
So what did you want to do?
Yeah, my question was, when you were young, what'd you want to do?
Good question. So, I mean, like most kids, right? You get exposed to different things and you have different aspirations. I mean, I've wanted to be everything from a comedian to a police officer. There was a time in life when I wanted to be a dentist. Then that morphed into orthodontia. But when my career path really was set and I said, hey, look, this is what I'm really going to devote myself to, and I was in a position to do so, I wanted to be a Major League Baseball player representative. So think about Jerry Maguire, right? That's the stereotypical person that people think of. Like, oh, you want to be Jerry Maguire? Yes, I want to be Jerry Maguire. And so that's what I wanted to do, and that's what I was pursuing. I'm not Jerry Maguire, spoiler alert, and didn't get there. But along that path, got to where I am today. I mean, we can go into that if you want to talk about it.
I want to know what made you want to do that specifically. Was it like you played baseball and you loved baseball, or did you watch a lot of Jerry Maguire growing up?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I mean, I played baseball, but I grew up a Cubs fan.
Like, I watched The Addams Family, so I wanted to be like a mortician.
Wednesday.
I was like, I want to like cut dead bodies open for no reason, but that was what I wanted.
All right, so
you watched a lot of Jerry Maguire.
Like,
That's a movie.
Like, could you recite the movie? I know.
No, I grew up a Cubs fan.
Isn't that You Had Me at Hello? Is that the one?
Yeah. But
all right, so
where it slides in the shirt.
Baseball fans on here. What's the association with the Chicago Cubs in the 90s and early 2000?
Harry Carey.
There's one. What else? If you wanted to rib somebody who's a Cubs fan,
they suck.
They haven't.
There you go. Thank you. They're bad, right? The curse.
Well, obviously.
90 years at that point, I think, without a world championship, right? And so people would tell me, like, oh, your team sucks. They're awful. You'll never win. There's a curse. And even as a young person, I wasn't satisfied with that. I was like, yeah, they're bad. I mean, the record tells me they're bad, but why, right? Just to say, oh, well, because they're the Cubs. Well, that's not enough. So I began getting very involved in statistics, into off-season moves. So who were they trading for? Why were they trading for them? How come they couldn't sign certain players? What was the barriers for them in getting certain free agent players? Their farm system, so their minor league players were never particularly good. Why was that? Who were they drafting? Who were they calling up? Who were they trading away? Who was having success with other organizations? So I just got very much into the personnel moves of baseball because I liked my team and didn't understand why they were bad, right? And so part of that was also understanding who had a hand in placing certain players with certain teams, and that was player agents. I thought
what made you a Cubs fan if they were so bad? Just where you lived?
Yeah, I grew up on the north side of Chicago in the suburbs. Both my parents were Cubs fans. Yep.
Okay.
So had that influence.
So it was genetic.
It's genetic. And if you've been to Wrigley Field, it's a magical experience too. So it's not hard.
Oh.
No, I've been there. It's awesome. Back in my high school days, you would get out of school and go home, and the Cubs were on TV. They were on WGN.
Oh, yeah.
And I watched them every afternoon. Now, everybody I know watched the Braves. The Braves are also on TV every day. But I think they were on maybe at night more. But I love the Cubs. I love that they didn't have lights until 1988. So I love that story. Whether they're bad. My main team's the Rangers. they've been horrible too my whole life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Until
So I can
last
relate.
year.
That's right. We finally got out of
That's
there.
right.
And I do want to say this to you. My daughter is about to graduate college, and that's exactly what she wants to do. She wants to go to law school, and she wants to be a player representation. I mean,
Oh, you
very
should have her
interesting.
Player
talk to Dan.
representative.
Y'all are so ambitious. I mean, I was not
Well,
that way. Please
so I did
continue.
not want to go to law school and bucked against it adamantly. So I had a friend, I was introduced to someone who was a player agent. He was a former Major League Baseball player. And what he told me when I was 19, he said, Dan, there's two ways that you get into this. You can either be a former Major League Baseball player, which you are not, or like my partner, you can go to law school. So I suggest you go to law school. And he was adamant about it. And I didn't want to go to law school. I didn't want to be a lawyer. I just wanted to get into baseball. So my carrot this whole time, right, was player agent. All right, if I do A, B, and C, I can be a player agent. Law school was a step in that direction. And I took the LSATs. That's the entrance exam to get into law school. Didn't do well the first time. And I remember calling this guy. His name's Scott. And I said, Scott, I took the LSAT and I didn't do well on it. And I don't know if I'm going to get into law school. And I know you told me to go there, but there's a master's program at Northwestern University that's in sports administration and sports management. What if I do that instead? Right? Like, oh, I got it figured out. And I'll never forget. He told me, well, Dan, I don't know anything about this master's program, but if you're asking me to change my advice, I'm not going to do it. Go to law school. And I was like, oh, okay, fine. So I'll go, right? So I went to law school with the thought that I'll get my degree and then I'll be a sports agent, right? Won't practice law. Don't want to do it. In fact, I won't even take the bar. I'm not even worried about that. I'm just going to get my degree. So I went to law school, took some courses, including elective, which was labor law, as a weekly course. And when I graduated, I called him, said, hey, did it, graduated. You're going to rehire me now, right? And he said, well, no, Dan, you don't actually have any practical skills. He said, what you need to do is if you want to be the best player agent you can be, first thing you need to be is the best attorney you can be, which is exactly what I did not want to do, right? Didn't want to be a lawyer. And
He knew
so,
that. He was just
oh, for sure. For
bragging
sure.
you.
I mean, this was the toughest but best advice I could have gotten.
Right.
Was hey, go out there and get some practical skills. And there was another agent that I knew too, and his name was Jay. And I called Jay and I said, oh, Jay, I graduated. I went to law school like he told me to do. And he still's not hiring me. He said he doesn't have any work for me. And I was whining to him about it. And he listened for about 2 minutes. And then his response was this, and I quote, Dan, get a job, bro, end quote. So in other words, like, quit whining about it. Just do something, right? I get that you want to be player agent, but get a job. Go do something. So I thought, okay, fine. So this was in 2011. I don't know if you remember, the job market was not that good, right? We were recovering from the recession, and the legal field was no exception. So really bad for people trying to find jobs in the legal field. But my adjunct labor law professor put me onto a job as a union staff attorney working for a public sector union in Orlando, Florida. And I didn't want to go to Florida. I had already worked an internship there a couple of years prior and didn't enjoy Daytona is where that was.
You don't
Didn't
like
want
the
to be
sunshine.
internship in.
Yeah, and I didn't want to work for a union, but it was he described it well. He said, "Look, Danny boy," because that's what he called me. You're just looking for port in the storm, right? Which was true. I was graduating. I had student loan debt. I just needed a job, and so I took a job working as a union staff attorney in Orlando, Florida, and by and through that, I got exposed to mediators. So we worked with mediators sometimes, right? I was bargaining contracts with employers, and on occasion we would use mediators. And there was one in particular, her name was Sue. Her introduction was, hi, my name is Sue Putnam. I'm a mediator with Federal Mediation and Conciliation Service, and I have the best job in the world. I thought, well, that's kind of audacious, right? I got the best job in the world. So after one mediation, I said, Sue, can I talk to you for a second? I said, why is it the best job in the world? And we talked for like 45 minutes about her position. And I thought, someday I could see myself doing that. Most mediators are older. getting close to retirement. It's kind of like a soft landing into retirement. So I thought maybe after a long career as a player agent, I'll mediate, right? But the opportunity ended up coming sooner than I thought it would. I didn't go directly into mediation. I actually worked on management side as a management side labor attorney first for a couple years. Enjoyed that. Thought I was going to stay with that company until retirement, until I got a new boss. So we talk about like the non-linear aspect of this, right? I thought, okay, I got a linear path. I'm going to stay with this company. I'm going to retire here. It's going to be good. Enter a new boss when my current boss retired. And this guy it was like babysitting, unfortunately, working for him. Needed his hand held, and it got to be exhausting. So I started looking into mediation again and ended up getting a position. At some point along the way, right, I got married, I started a family, and understanding more about what it took to be a player agent, the investment both in money and time, I thought, this is not a good place in life to do that. But if not for pursuing that, I would have never found out about mediation, wouldn't have gone to law school, wouldn't have had the degree, et cetera, wouldn't have the skills to be able to do it. So I have an opportunity sometimes to talk to young people, whether it's in a classroom setting. Like I've been asked to speak at some universities and talk to HR courses or master's level courses, et cetera. And what I always tell them is like basically Jay's advice: get a job, bro, right? Do something. Because you just never know what you're going to discover, what vocations you'll be exposed to, who you might meet, and what they know, right? And what interests you might share, unless you're just out there actively doing something. Be flexible in your pursuit, but do something. And that's part of my story. I'm curious if it's part of yours also.
I got a quick question. So you knew a player's agent that was a ex ball player.
Right.
And he was the one that told you to law school, right?
Right.
Is he the same one that you called and he said, dude, just go get a job? That the same guy? Okay. That wasn't the same guy.
Yeah, different guy. I was whining to guy number 2 about guy number 1. I was saying to Jay, Scott won't hire me. We've been talking for all these years and I've done everything he told me to do, but he still won't give me a job. And he's the one who told me, get a job, bro.
That's awesome. I love friends that will just tell you how it is. Like, shut up, stop doing what you're doing. You're wrong, and go do the right thing. I did have a question. Darren, you were going to say something, though.
I was just going to say, play the friend one that was the ex-player that was actually doing what you wanted to do. So you went to him, and he was in the position to hire you, possibly.
If you chose to, yeah.
And he's the one that said, I got nothing. I don't know what to tell you. Go figure it out. So that was a little rough. I mean, he's kind of, he's working you. He's got you coming along, and then he slammed the door on you. That's a little rough. Maybe it is timing. Maybe it was bad at that time. But that's a little rough.
Think about this. It's a different type of industry in this way, right? I wasn't asking him to be his admin or to be a secretary, right? That's a position where I'd be hired and paid on an hourly basis to provide a particular service. What I was asking him, and I didn't really know this at the time, like I didn't have enough insight into the work. What I was basically asking was, look, I don't have any players. I'm not bringing any bread to the table. I'm just asking you to pay me and split your revenue with me and bring me along for no particular reason.
So that I can learn how to do it.
Yes, I can learn, right?
But I was like a really good teacher, yeah.
Yeah, but in that industry in particular, right? If you hear of an agent joining another group, it's because they have players already, right? They're bringing revenue into this group. I wasn't bringing any revenue, which was fair.
So how's it going to work? It's because he was a ball player and he's got a bunch of buddies and got to know him, and that's how he really got going. So you kind of had to bring your own game into this. Yeah, I get that. So maybe he should have brought you in as an apprentice or I don't know. I don't know. I mean, was there nothing that he could have brought you in and you learned the ropes?
I'm not ready to say that it could have never happened. But again, my own path was there came a fork in the road. Well, let me back up. I talked with another agent This guy's name was Dave, and we were sitting together discussing his own practice. He had a couple ball players, but he told me, he's like, yeah, my wife is working a part-time job and picking up extra hours so I can continue to do this. So in other words, she's working more to support my career, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, okay, if she's working extra hours so you can continue to do this sounds like a hobby to me. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So like,
for sure.
yes, I could have gotten an internship with a group someplace, but I was past that,
Yeah.
you know? And maybe if I wanted to take 4 steps back financially and in life, you know, to be able to do that, it could have worked out. But I found something that I was enjoying. I found a new path, had a little more stability to it. And
Darren's
so
really trying to get you to be
it.
all.
Yes, Darren wants you
He's
to be
like
in baseball.
really trying to make that happen. But my point was just that, you know, I think that that's something that the school system fails us on is we don't get to try anything before we go to college. It's like pick your major, and you're like, okay, what do I want to be? You know, until you go to school and then you get to a point where you have to, you know, make big decisions and get loans and all these things. And I think it leaves a lot of people high and dry.
And they don't even give you an aptitude test. I mean,
Right.
at least an
Yeah.
aptitude test.
But just like
What
go
would
try
you be good
things.
at?
Like why couldn't high school have one period? Like, do we need chemistry? I mean, maybe some people do. But like, why not take one period or a couple of electives, and instead of learning really terrible French, let's go and figure out what we might want to do with our life, you know, like,
Yeah.
okay,
Just get
look,
them some exposure.
these are some common jobs and they're very different. Accounting, whatever. In my high school, there was like a trade program that I was in. It was called the Health Academy. And I got to go and do like nursing type things and learn about that. So I think that was a really cool thing, but you couldn't just get in. You had to interview and you had to, you know, pass tests and things like that. So.
Yeah. And that's a good learning. I mean, I'm hoping for my own kids. Greg knows I have an 8-year-old and a 6-year-old. Like if they express an interest in something early on, right? Even if it's just passively, maybe just get their hands on it. Doesn't mean they necessarily need to commit to it long term.
They might hate it or be terrible.
They might hate it, but get some exposure to it. See what their interests are.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
So how about you, Darren? Darren, you like are texting and stuff.
Well,
Yeah.
no, I'm trying to help Greg out. Greg,
Tell me,
Greg worries about the time, and it makes him nervous. And I told him to put black tape over the clock. And I tried to message him, and I need an upgrade for some reason. So I was texting Greg where we were minute wise.
Yeah,
Sorry.
thanks, man. So yeah,
I was working on the podcast.
I just heard like a.
Yeah. So yeah, it's interesting how we get from where we are, or where we want to be, to where we are. I don't know that. I think I'm embarrassed to say that I had no plan, and I don't know that I ever thought, "Hey, I have this plan." It's kind of embarrassing because I think people probably thought I had it put together. Darren, you could probably.
I thought that.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be embarrassed
compared to
not.
Darren.
Well, that was my plan. I had no plan. You know what my plan was? I thought I would meet somebody that was some great situation. I'm not saying Jerry Jones or anything, but some really really well off, put together guy, and my personality, or girl, and my personality loved me, and he'd bring me in, and I'd be running the show before it's all over with. That's what I thought would happen. So.
Supreme confidence. Yeah, I don't think it's wrong to not have a plan. I feel like they're the people who like put the plan in stone and will not, you know, adapt to their situation. Those are the people who really struggle. I mean,
well, yeah. I mean, I know a ton of people that went to school. They take for an attorney, for instance. I worked in law firms in Dallas, and I knew so many attorneys that hated being an attorney. One wanted to drive a 18-wheeler truck. The other one wanted to be a country music singer. I mean, they didn't like what they were doing. But I mean, look at you. You went through all of that, and you didn't even want to be an attorney, and you had to go through it. So my question to you is, do you like mediation? I would think that would be cool to do.
I love it. And this might surprise you. I mean, the conversation that we're having right now, I might have this conversation with a committee of union employees or company executives, right? It's not always just X's and O's and pure business. We spend a lot of time together, sometimes 10 hours in a clip, might be 10 hours in a day. And so during the course of that day, there's a lot of downtime, right? You're waiting on information, you're waiting on a response from the other group. And so instead of just staring at each other, it's these types of conversations. And so I'm learning about different businesses, what they do, how they operate, what some of their pain points are, what their pressures are, etc. Learning about people, how they got to where they are. It's basically just a people business, mediation, as much as anything. I always say, go ahead, Jasmine.
Oh, I was just going to say, would you consider yourself an extrovert, or are you?
That's funny. So I consider myself an introvert, but it's probably not true.
Maybe like a skilled introvert?
Yeah, skilled introvert. I mean, someone told me that I didn't talk until second grade, and then one day I started talking and haven't shut up since. And there's probably some truth to that. I mean, my mouth always got me in trouble, but I mean, internally, right? Internally, always felt like an introvert. Like, given the option, I'd rather just sit and be quiet, but I'll fill the space if it's quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever taken like any of those personality tests, like INT, what is it, MTBI or?
I don't know. There are so many. You know, there's one where there's animals associated with it, right? Lions, owls, tigers, bears, or something. I don't remember which animal I was. There's ones that has numbers, one that has letters. So I'm sure I've taken one at some point or another.
Colors.
I just don't know. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you're not a personality type. You're a skeptic.
It's not that I'm a skeptic. It's I'm not special, but it's more this. I am who I am, right?
Right.
And as soon as you tell somebody, sometimes, oh, I'm a green, or I'm a owl, I'm a one, and all of a sudden they treat you a certain way. My manual here says that I need to use soft tones with you, and etc. Like,
oh my goodness,
no.
Exactly,
100%.
Right.
Our old place was eaten up with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. And I think that my life is similar in that way, but I'm very adaptable. I've never had a plan. I've always been the kind of person that just kind of like, where's life going to take me? And we've moved a lot, and the military took us a lot of different places, but I'm incredibly impulsive to a fault. And the ADHD probably helps with that. Like, curiosity is something that I just want to like fulfill a curiosity, not necessarily have to finish anything. So I'll start a lot of little things to see what I like. And if it sticks around for more than a year, I probably really, really like it. And so I can really relate to the adaptive kind of movement that you did on all that.
Okay, so you know what's interesting? So you're talking about being adaptive and being able to pivot. What I have seen, the people who struggle the most is the folks who did the best in, like, up until high school or maybe even college, right? You were the best in theater. You were the star of your high school, or you were the best ball player. You were the best fill in the blank, right? And there was this idea that everybody's been telling you that you're the best up until age 18. And then you pursue a career that piggybacks off of that skill. And when it doesn't work out, you just can't handle it, right?
Right.
And not able to adapt, not able to pivot from it because you've been told you're special, you're gifted, right? You're going to make it. And it seems like a letdown to yourself and everybody else if you're not able to pursue it to completion.
Yeah, the best people I've ever met have all gone through like adverse circumstances in some way, or had to fight a little bit for what they have. So I think that's probably related.
Well, the song "Glory Days" basically sums that up. I mean, they were the
peaked in high school.
Peaked in high school. I mean, that's a thing. I mean,
that is a thing.
Now I do have a question. How many of you have gone to like a reunion, like a high school reunion?
Yes.
Raise your hand. No, me either. No, me either. I'm like, I don't care about any. Look, there's some great people back there, but that's where they are. They're back there.
They're doing great. We want them to watch us, though.
I left that place as I didn't want to see people from high school. I would be at Walmart and I'd run into somebody like that was in my health class in freshman year, and I'm like, why do I still remember this person? Get me out of this place.
I've been to two.
I think led me into the Army.
Why is it so bad? I don't understand. I mean, I get that that's not your person for life because you just happen to be in that 8th grade class, but I don't understand why that's so bad.
I mean, it's not so bad. It's just not my preference, I guess. I don't know. I like to change, and I think that people stick you in a box, like Dan said.
Oh,
like
they do.
I guarantee you, Dan, correct me if I'm wrong, you probably have people who are like, what happened to the baseball thing you were gonna do? Like they
all
just
the time.
they think that that's your path. You said it.
For sure.
What happened to it? You're a quitter. It's like, I've changed, I've grown, I've decided to do something different. I'm different. You don't know me anymore, and that's okay.
Yeah, they're
Learn-
way more disappointed
now.
for me than I am for myself.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Or judgy.
Or judgy, or both.
And I don't care. Judge me. But like at the same time, just if you're not interested in like getting to know me as I grow and change, then you can stay where you were, in my opinion.
The reason I went to a high school reunion is the first one I went to was my 10-year.
To show off. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, to show off his wife.
I wanted to show off my
His
wife.
hot wife. Yes.
I had not been married very long. My father-in-law had this super nice new Mercedes. It's before everybody drew Mercedes back then. Like they're everywhere now. But
everybody drove them.
Yeah, and I
Glen
drive
Grove
us.
education right there.
So I borrowed his car. Nobody knew Amy, and I don't know. I was proud
You
of.
had the trophy
I
wife.
was proud of my father-in-law's car and my wife. So I don't.
And all the people that you had doing all the things.
I think I went to another one later, but I think it's the 10-year I remember. I really enjoyed getting back with a couple of guys that I knew then, and I lost contact because they're hilarious and they were still in their party mode, and it was a lot of fun. That one was. I know I did go to another one later because the kids were little, and I went, and it was fine. Greg.
So wait, we have your 10, your 20, your 30.
We've only been to two.
I've been
went
to
to
two. I don't remember the other one. The first one was the 10.
They were so fun.
Well, it was a long time ago. I graduated in 1988, so I don't know.
Yeah.
But I did. You're right. I did go to the second one, and then, it was. I still kind of halfway try to communicate with those people. I'll tell you right now, a guy I didn't graduate with. He was a couple years older than me. He hit me. He texted me out of the blue last night, and he's like an EMT in Florida, and he got to work a concert, and he got to watch Joe Satriani play for free. Well, for getting paid. So he's like, "Hey, man." And then I was like, "Hey, our podcast just got out." So I sent it to him. He's like, "Oh my gosh, that's awesome." So, I love that Doug Worley reached out to me and told me about his concert. I mean, I like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, no, I mean, but that's the difference too now. Like, we have Facebook. So, and we did in high school. Well, I don't know. Maybe a little after high school is when I got Facebook. But anyone I've cared to kind of keep up with, I do that way, and so I just didn't really feel the need.
And you're in a little different
That's
situation.
Right. That's a
than
generational difference.
Because we didn't have it. So we lost track with
we did.
Yeah. And when Facebook came out, I'm sure you were like, "Ooh, what happened to that ex-girlfriend or whatever?" That
I had no ex-girlfriends, but yeah, I'm sure
of
they were
course.
like, "What happened
You
to
were
that
celibate
weird guy? That weird guy in high school?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, there he is. Look how bad he looks now." So, but yeah, there was a rush of that when Facebook did come around. It was neat.
Yeah.
To me, I'm a people person.
And it's interesting that you and I are very different, Darren. You like a style of music that I don't necessarily care for, the heavier side of metal.
And I am ready for the music question today, by the way. If we're going to do it. Good. We don't have to do it, but I'm ready.
Save it for next time because we started with the PSAs today. But hey, but we're very different, and we're very different. I mean, I was top in class. You were bottom in class.
Oh my God, Greg, what is wrong with you?
It's,
Right.
that's
Gay.
true.
I had all the women on my arms, and you were a total loser.
No. We were just very different. He was really cool. I was a nerd. You know,
Okay.
he was drama. I was sports. Very different. It's
True.
funny how so we didn't even really hang out in high school at all. I didn't say really. We didn't hang out at all. I didn't even know. I mean, I knew who Darren
There you
was,
go.
but
And this
we
is a
became
small
friends
school.
after at a job.
Yeah, you had like 58
We had
people,
58
right?
people in
Yeah,
our class.
to not
In
really
your class or in
In
your
our
school?
class. In our
Class.
class.
Okay.
58 people in our class.
So what he's saying is that we didn't deal with each other in that small of a school. That's really saying something. If you got 2,000
yeah, it's really
students,
stands up.
No,
That's
it's
easy.
true. Yeah. Right.
And
right.
yet here we are 35 years later, probably, I mean, you're the only person I talk to regularly besides my business partner who we rekindled a relationship after 30 years or so.
who was in class with us, and he stole a date from me one night, and I still hold a grudge against that.
You said
I
you
can-
didn't have any girlfriends.
I can punch him on
Wait.
Wednesday
A
if you'd
date, a
like.
date. I had a
Wait,
date.
so Dan, what kind of person were you in high school, or were you pretty much the same as you are now? But
Ooh, that's a good question. What type of person was I in high school? Pretty obnoxious, like fun obnoxious, right? Like not getting in trouble, but kind of towing that line. I got good grades, but yeah, I got good grades. Didn't have to try very hard, which hurt me in college. I didn't think much of myself, so I didn't have any girlfriends, which was a good thing. So I didn't feel any pressure, dating pressure or anything. So I just had a lot of fun. Like I had a lot of girl friends, but I had no girlfriends.
Same.
And so there was no pressure on me in high school. High school was fun. Some people look back at it and they say, "Oh, it was a drag." I loved high school.
Yeah.
I liked high
Yeah.
school. Where did you
Yeah,
go
me
to
too.
high school? In Texas or where? No,
In
Chicago.
Chicago.
That's right.
Cubs Nation.
That's right.
With a bunch of Cubs fans.
Get it
I
right.
should have wore my Cubs cap today. I had no idea.
Next time.
And
Next time.
Jasmine and I have a Cubs cap too. I spent some time.
They're great. They're
visiting
adorable.
Chicago.
It's an adorable team, and it's it's just
Adorable.
They
That
are.
was passive aggressive.
No, they're great.
I think I'm gonna
love
wear
it.
it to church on Sunday, Dan.
They're
I'll
so
wear my Cubs hat.
cute.
Do you do show and tell on the show? Do you ever do show and tell?
We
It's
have
like,
it.
this is like a clay piece that was made for me. This is a Chicago Cubs figurine. You'll see the bear with the hat.
That's cute.
Yeah.
That's awesome. What do you mean it was made for you? What does that mean?
What's that?
What do you mean it was made for you? It wasn't something you got at the ballpark, or
No. Someone actually made it. And I've got this Wilson Contreras souvenir bobblehead too.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's awesome.
A good bobblehead.
So
You love a
Dan
bobblehead.
mentioned that he's moved a number of times.
Number of
Jasmine has noted that she had moved a number of times. I've moved 31 times.
Oh my gosh.
Legitimately 31 times.
31 times. So, and I can
Clarify. Yeah,
Wow.
let's break
If you
that
wanna-
down.
if you
State
want
to
to
state.
time me, if you want to time me, I can go
No.
through 26 in about 30 seconds.
Okay, we're at 40 minutes,
No,
but this is the second one. So
Wait. I don't need to know everywhere, but I want to know, like, what do you consider a move? Is it like from house to house? Is it from state to state?
so 31 times is house to house, but 26 of those. So I moved, I won't go through all of them, but from
Do you like the
Blooming
10 most
Grove.
recent? Top 10.
10 most recent, top 10. Okay. 10 most recent
Just kidding.
in reverse order. Weatherford,
Okay.
Texas,
wow.
Arlington, Texas, Tyler, Texas, Red Oak, Texas, Kingwood, Red Oak, Alexandria, Virginia, Richmond, Virginia, Charlotte, North Carolina, Tampa, Florida, and Dallas, all around Dallas before that.
Wow.
and you didn't even
So
let
some
him
of those are
meet-
really
say
big.
Oh, wait a
Jamaica.
second.
He lived in Jamaica.
Montego Bay, Jamaica. Yeah, 2 years in
you
Montego
lived in
Bay,
Jamaica.
Yeah.
The farthest
before-
I've lived is Germany, and that was when my husband was still in the army. So, yeah, that's good. How do you feel about moving? Are you a big? I mean, there's something that does happen around when you announce a move. I don't know if you've experienced that before, but
What?
when you tell people you're moving and they just like all basically stop talking to you for.
They don't give
Yeah,
you
so-
any more
Alright.
energy. They don't expect
That's
you to
right.
be your friend.
That's right. And
Yeah.
matter of fact, when they find out you've moved 31 times, they don't give you much energy because people think
Yeah,
they're probably going to move. So
Or they get
that's
their
why,
hopes up and go, maybe they won't move this
yeah,
time.
yeah.
I got my
So
hopes up.
I don't have a ton of friends for
Oh,
that very
Darren.
reason, you know.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard because then you realize you're like, oh, I didn't really mean all that much to these people, or maybe that's not true, but it just kind of feels like that sometimes.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's what happens. It's like this weird thing. And the military was great because everybody kind of knew, okay, eventually you're going to move. So, you know,
Everybody's in
we're
the
just
same
going to,
boat.
yeah, everyone treats people, they bring people in really quickly. And then, you know, when they leave, it's no hard feelings. So
I personally kind of halfway like that you guys have moved around, because the people that live in the town they were born in and they're still there and they only hang around. I mean, they're a 60-year-old person and they're still hanging around these assholes that they went to junior high school with.
swear
And
jar.
it makes me crazy.
Yeah.
I'll give you an example. The town I moved from, I was friends with some people that grew up there, but they were really good friends with people, subhumans. Were horrible people, and I couldn't get it in my head. How does this great, fun guy that I like to hang around with hang out with this other guy? Horrible.
Yeah.
So, but he went to junior high school with him, and that means more to him than I did.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem moving into a community is there's always people like that, and it's so cliquish. It's so Dan and I
It can be.
are friends.
Yeah.
You know, probably because we're both new. Not that's not the reason, but we like each other. We have a lot in common, but we're also both new.
That helps.
Yeah.
It does. It like cultures you. And I noticed that even when we just go on like a trip, my kids like come back and they're all of a sudden like a year older, it seems, than they, you know, maybe not that much, but they're more mature and I'm more mature. And I think that is something that happens when you move around. And you're right, Darren, when you don't move around and you just experience the same people and the same places and the same things all the time, that becomes your world. Like
100%.
People who live in California, they couldn't give a rip about what happens and goes on in like Texas, Arkansas, Colorado. Those are flyover states, you know, maybe not Colorado anymore, but yeah, when we told Californians we were moving to Arkansas, they were just like, they have different textbooks there and like they don't have all their teeth, you know what I mean? So just lots of stereotypes that when we moved here, we're like, this place is amazing. It's great. There's good people everywhere we go.
People in Louisiana and Mississippi say that about Arkansas. So,
ouch.
No, seriously,
yeah.
they really do. So I'll say just something quick about that. So where we live, there's three main towns. It's Fayetteville, Rogers, Bentonville, right? So
Springdale.
Okay.
I just have to disagree with you.
That's fine. Springdale.
It's in my contract, according to Greg.
It's a flyover town here. So
I'm gonna have Dan review that contract.
So here's the deal.
I actually want that.
I moved to Fayetteville a year ago. The big plan from my wife was, let's move to Fayetteville. It's beautiful. Yes. It's a SEC town. Yes. I like all that. Da 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 da. So I've been here a year. When I go out in Fayetteville, there's a lot of people from Fayetteville here, and it is really hard to break in.
And then the rest are Texans.
Rogers and Bentonville, nobody's from Rogers and Bentonville. Everybody's from somewhere else. So I don't like Rogers and Bentonville as much as I like Fayetteville as far as the look and the clubs and the school sports and all of that. But like if I go to a comedy thing in Rogers, I'm sitting around people mainly from California. It's a bunch of Californians, and you get to talking, and it's so more communal than if I go to a thing in Fayetteville and there's all these older people there and they've been here and they shun outsiders just because they're protective of their town. I get that. So it's just I'm saying all that to say that's exactly right. Greg and Dan are buddies because neither one of them are from Winsboro or wherever it is, the town you're living in. So yes, I agree. Sorry.
Weatherford, thank you.
Weatherford.
And you know, the same thing happened to my dad, who's a boomer. who's barely a boomer. He's almost a silent, right? He's a boomer, and he when he moved back to his hometown, he wasn't friends with any of his old friends. He was friends with new guys that had moved there, recently. So it happens, I think, with all generations.
Can I share a story?
Well, yeah.
So I went to law school in Ada, Ohio. And if you don't know Ada, Ohio, you're in good company. It's probably a town of, I don't know, 1,500 residents, I would say. And that's maybe generous. And so a group of us went out to a really small, skunky bar that was doing karaoke one night. And we were doing what
Skunky.
students do, right? Just having fun, not taking it seriously.
Mhm.
But there were 3 guys in the corner in this bar looking like they own the place, right? Scowling at everybody doing karaoke. And they put on
What were you singing?
I don't think I sang anything that night, but they put on this guy's song, and as it started, he got up, ran, slid across the bar as his buddy tossing the microphone, and off he went singing some country song. Like, this was his moment, right? Like, I'm going to show these guys what it's about here in Ada, Ohio. And I wasn't mad at him. I wasn't offended, but my thought was, dude, you got to get out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You got to get out. If this is it
Yeah.
for you, like showing off to a bunch of law students who don't care, you need to get out.
Well, they have that in movies. I mean, that situation's in a lot of movies. Like what's the Richard Gere movie that he's a officer and a gentleman maybe, and the local guys at the bar hated those guys in the officer program. You know, kind of same thing. I heard the backstory on it's Animal House. So they're filming Animal House in whatever town, and all the locals gave the actors complete shit when they were out and about. I mean, that's just, I don't know. I guess they're like animals. They're like dogs peeing on their corners. This is
It's
my
a status.
It's territorial.
Yeah.
It's like caveman stuff. People are territorial to new people
It's
coming
a
in.
status thing. It's like they're afraid, I think. It's a fear response.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Status.
everything. Oh my gosh. Yeah, everything's status. I don't know. Dan, you seem like somebody who reads a lot. Have you read Will Storr? He wrote something called Status Game.
No.
Anyways, it's a really, really good book, but it just kind of talks about that. And when you're not sure where you stand and kind of like the pack, right? When somebody comes in and they're more educated than you or whatever, how you're naturally just going to reject that. So I think that's probably why.
It's a thing.
It's a thing.
It's
It
a thing.
happens.
So
I'm
here's some trivia. I don't know if anybody knows this. There was this show. I don't remember what it was. It was in the 90s, and it was this guy who didn't drink, and his foray into drinking was Zima. He's like, oh man, I've had like 2 Zimas.
It was Darren.
No, but that's what's reminding me of it. But it's killing me. I can't remember what it was.
Oh, what movie it was?
No, it was a TV show. It was like an ABC show.
And they talked about Zimas. What was it about?
It was a sitcom, but it was someone who didn't drink in this sitcom, and he was just going to go buck wild, right? Take a walk on the wild side, and so he started drinking Zimas.
How's that working out for going wild there, Jasmine? Oh, you're not having a Zima though. What are you having?
Oh,
a bubbly or something. Oh yeah, she is drinking. That's cider. Alcohol. I actually met the guy that invented that taste. That like
this flavor?
Yeah, that guy that I signed that time.
This is my favorite flavor.
That had all the big huge.
Yeah. No, I keep trying to get you and Ashley to go with me. No, I don't know, but it was, well, I think he had like hops or something.
That's right. Someone gave him hops for Christmas, and they were huge. They took over his entire backyard. They ended up being this big thing, but that doesn't have to do with that flavor.
No,
but he invented that flavor.
But hibiscus is good. They also have a sour peach ring that is very awesome. But I like the idea of like a wine cooler or a Zima. I don't know what a Zima is.
It's kind of lemon limey, from what I remember.
Sounds horrible.
It's like alcohol Sprite.
Yeah, it was great.
Alcoholics.
It was just really popular. You know how
alcoholic Sprite.
You know how everybody's drinking Ultra for beer. Ultra's the worst tasting beer on the history of the planet, but everybody drinks it for whatever reason. It's just popular. Zima was popular.
What's a good beer? What's your preferred?
Well, I'm not really a beer guy, but if I was the weight I wanted to be and the sun was shining and everything was working out my way, I would ask for a Ziegenbock.
You are like you like a vodka soda, tequila soda. Do you like tequila?
Wild Turkey's my go-to,
Mm.
but I'll drink. I've drank vodka with you before, yeah.
Yeah, a vodka soda is
Like
always good. Greg, do you drink or
this
no?
whole thing
You don't
was
drink
full
Orkers?
of vodka.
Yeah, I don't drink very often, but
Oh, okay.
yeah, I like.
Oh wait, I know.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah.
Silly question. Well.
Yeah.
What's our next topic?
So the next thing is a game. You guys want to play a game?
I always would play a game.
Yes, I know you do. So it's a word game. It's vocabulary. We're throwing a twist into it. So the first two words are worth 1 point. And they're new words that were added to the dictionary in 2023. Everyone will guess. These, I don't know the definition of these words, by the way, Dan. So I'm just
supposedly,
have
allegedly.
I lose
Dan,
every time.
You know that?
I lose every time. Okay, and then the last three words will be words that they're worth 2 points each, and they're words that Darren, Jasmine, and myself are bringing to the table from the Urban Dictionary or from life.
I thought maybe there were words that are taken out of the dictionary. You're going to bring those in.
Oh, it's a good idea, though. Yes. Next show.
Out of the dictionary.
Really?
Next
like
show.
from like the 1850s.
That would be a good generational thing,
No
right?
longer
So we no longer need
phased
this
out.
That's a really good equalizer.
Yeah,
like
that would be
That'll
a good
be the
equalizer.
next.
Yes.
That'll be the next.
So
time.
mine's not really a word. Mine's like a
phrase.
A saying I've never
Mine's
heard
kind
of
of
before.
a phrase too, as well.
It's
multiple words.
It's fun. By the way, I got a message from someone that has a podcast of their own. And they've had it for years before podcasts were podcasts. And she says, great to hear from you. I listened to podcasts and she loved it. By the way, you can see us or hear us on YouTube or Spotify at Gen Space Lab with Darren.
What are they listening to us on right now?
Yeah, with Darren, Greg, and Jasmine.
And I will say this is our first recording, the first one we've done since the first one was aired, and we got some feedback.
We got some mixed reviews.
We got good feedback, but you know what?
Yeah.
I like hearing it all. Greg.
Oh, me too.
Greg got all the good feedback, and I got all the bad.
Yeah.
But
I'm the dud in the middle. I love it. You know what? That works perfectly for a Gen X, right?
We need a straight
we have low
man.
expectations.
Yeah,
because
you're
Darren
perfect.
and I can't take anything seriously.
This wouldn't even have happened without Greg. It's Greg's brainchild. It's his thing.
Well, can we say too? We have an Instagram page now. We're getting with the times.
I didn't know that.
Hey, yeah, let us. Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Did I know that?
It's Gen Lab Pod.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Congratulations. Follow along. I haven't posted anything.
Are you guys ready for the first word?
I'm so ready.
Okay, I knew you would be. The first word is cokeism. 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 No looking it up. Feel free to jump in, whoever wants to.
Oh, I know what this is. Oh, 100%. I know.
Okay.
Okay.
Go.
I believe you guys can't come up with the same definition. You got to come. No, you got to come up with something.
Okay, well, don't go first.
This is when no. This is when you are high on coke and you come up with a really profound thought. It's your cokeism.
Okay.
Unless it isn't.
I have an idea. Can I go next?
Go. Yes.
Yeah, you're next.
So this may not be everywhere, and this might not be it, but in my world, everybody calls whatever soft drink a Coke, whether they're getting a Dr. Pepper or a Pepsi or a whatever.
Wrong.
They call it a Coke. So half the time it's not a Coke. So Cokeism is the situation where someone calls any soda water a Coke.
So it's like
Dan,
a
what do they call it? What do they call it in Chicago?
They call it pop.
pop.
No.
It's pop
that's
country.
the worst one.
Sody pop.
Yeah, it's pretty
So-
bad.
That's what my
Soda's
grandmother called
better.
it. It was pop.
Yeah.
She was from like Alaska. I don't even know what.
That's close
Yeah.
to
Okay.
Chicago.
We call it soda.
Okay, Dan, what do you got?
Cokeism?
Cokeism. Yes.
So I was going to go with Jasmine's response. I mean, that's what immediately came to mind. But since we can't duplicate answers,
I'm kidding. You can duplicate.
You
but
can.
I
You
just
can
want
duplicate.
credit.
It's the answer.
if you're
You've got to
if you're in the
duplicate
same generation, you can
I would just like
duplicate.
you to cite your source.
cite my source.
it.
I believe it was Jasmine who once said that a cokeism is something that is said whilst under the influence of cocaine. So
Mhm.
while you're coked out.
Coked out.
So typically, I look these words up and I don't see them, but today I saw it, so I can't
Oh.
be in the game, so I don't get any points for this
I
one.
find it odd that
Do we get to know
I-
if we're right?
I find
Yeah,
it
so-
odd, but go ahead.
What do you
No,
find
no,
out?
go.
Well, give me the definition, and then I'll say.
Cokeism is an epiphany achieved solely through the insufflation, injection, absorption through any route of cocaine, hydrochloride, any form of it, so forth and so on. So you guys
Oh,
got it.
heck yeah.
Wow.
Okay,
So Dan, 1
points.
point. No, one.
Well,
One,
I don't know if we got
Oh.
it though. I mean, because we said it was a saying. You said it's an epiphany. It's like a thought,
I
right?
said it was
Yeah,
profound
she did
thought,
say a
didn't
profound thought. Yeah,
Something
you
Something
did.
like that.
Yeah.
You
I wasn't
just
paying
didn't-
close enough attention.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So maybe Dan gets half a point.
Okay.
So-
Just kidding.
No,
You can
1
have
point.
one
1 point.
So
0
here's my
points for
thing.
Darren.
This is a new word last year. Why is it Coke?
I'm
was,
surprised. Who's doing so much Coke right now?
yeah, Coke
Oh,
was
yeah,
big in
yeah.
the '80s. Is Coke that big right now to
It
get a
must
new
be
word?
back.
It must be back.
I guess we just gotta try. I guess we just gotta hop on.
Yeah, let's do Coke and do a podcast.
Maybe it wasn't culturally appropriate to have that word in the dictionary.
We can't curse on the podcast,
But we can do a line of Coke.
but have a Cokeism.
Jeez.
Okay. All right. The next word is self-coup.
Oh,
SELFCOUP.
it's when you like usurp yourself on accident, or like you self-sabotage. It's like when you overthrow yourself by saying something stupid. I do it all the time. That's why I know.
Yeah, I'm in agreement. I do it all the time as well, and I agree with that.
Can you say
What
the
do you
word
think,
again?
Darren?
Self-coup.
And spell it. Spell the coup.
COUP. But I'm going to come up with something different because I'm in a different generation, so I can't copy. If you're in the same generation, you can.
Oh, Dan, are you a millennial?
I
You
think
look
so.
like
We should have
Millennial.
said that in the beginning,
Deeper.
but Greg
Oh,
popped
Dan,
off.
what year were you born?
1985,
1985.
so you're like just a
1985.
millennial.
the year of our Lord. Yep.
I'm going
Oh
to
yeah,
say
that's that Bowling for Soup song.
Yeah,
I heard
81 was the
I
cutoff.
heard it today or yesterday.
84 though.
I heard it at some point lately. I'm going to say it's when you go inside of a chicken coop.
Okay. Okay. There you go.
You coop yourself. Go
There
coop
you go.
yourself. That's a good alternative, Greg, in case you need to.
If you're from the country, that makes a lot of sense to get locked inside the chicken coop. I would say
Yeah,
that's-
something like that.
Makes sense. Yeah.
You cooped yourself.
Maybe it's like I think it's maybe you're a hermit, right? Self coop, like you're cooped up. Maybe it means you're a hermit.
I like
Yeah.
that.
Something
Yeah.
different. How's that?
Hmm.
Yeah.
I like a unique answer,
Yeah, that's good.
Do we
but I
get
also like to
points
be
for
right.
uniqueness?
So no,
She likes to do that.
unfortunately, you don't. I learned that the hard way last time.
So, it is a self coup, also called an auto coup or coup from the top, is a form of coup d'etat in which the oh my gosh, I don't know if that's the right definition. Hang
Just feel
That's
right.
what
right
Jasmine said, basically, I think.
on. Yeah.
So
now.
she's batting 1,000. 2 for 2.
I want to hear Greg
So-
say it.
So, I don't know that you're right. A self coup is also called an auto coup from the Spanish autogolpe, or coup from the top, is a form of coup d'etat in which a nation's head, having come to power through legal means, tries to stay in power through illegal means. The leader may dissolve or render powerless the national legislature in Venezuela.
Oh, it was a little more political than
it's
I
an
thought. It was
actual
kind of
coup.
slang.
It's just
Yeah.
a coup is all that is.
Except you're already in power.
Based in the dictionary? This is happening often enough? We need to have this in the dictionary now?
Right, yeah. Like, why is this happening?
Bad deal.
We need an actual word for it.
I think they're just trying to publish more books.
Yeah, that's
revenues down. We need to publish new
right.
editions.
Yeah.
Didn't that just happen in Haiti? Didn't the thugs take over the government?
How many word quota do they have every year where they just have to keep adding?
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's what's happening here.
Something for us to talk about. Okay, so Darren, these are 2-point words here. So Darren, what's your phrase, and we'll try to guess it.
Okay, I heard that. I heard this week, and I've never heard this before. Someone at work said to another person that they were barn soured. Have you ever heard of that?
They don't want to go home.
They
let's see, barn soured. So that's when your horse is won't ride well because he's always trying to go back to the barn. So this is someone who doesn't want to go out, maybe because they like just sitting at home.
Yeah, they're like a hermit. They like want to be. They want to just go home.
That's what I'm going with. Someone who doesn't want to go out.
In a blanket.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, Dan, what do you think?
It's got to be, because to Greg's point, barn sour horse means you're kind of spoiled, always want to hang out in the barn, don't want to be ridden, worked, etc.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a real term. I had never heard this.
That's what she said.
So you guys have heard barn sour.
Well, Darren, do you know what the actual answer is?
Yes, but I'm trying to figure out if it's an actual thing that is with horses. Is that actually said about horses when they go to the barn?
Yes, it's a real thing.
I didn't know that. So yeah, it was raining outside. And,
wait a second, Jasmine has an answer. Jasmine has an answer.
My guess is that they don't want to leave their house.
Jeez. I thought she agreed with Greg.
For the sake of winning, I want to say
half point.
So
no,
she agreed with Greg.
No, just kidding.
I did agree.
How it was used is my boss and I were going out into the rain, and he invited someone to go, and they were like, "Nah, that's all right, I'm not going." And he said, "You're barn soured." So yes, that's.
Yeah. See, I think for future reference, if somebody over the age of like 45 is saying something, it's probably not new slang.
I've just never heard of it. I've never heard that term ever.
Okay.
I even had to think about it. Maybe not.
Had horses.
Okay.
I had a horse.
Okay. Yeah. Jasmine, what you got?
What was the name of your horse? I had a horse.
Oh yeah. Tell us what the name of your horse was.
Her name was Peaches. And it was a real horse. And she had one eye. And she died of colon cancer.
Oh,
yeah, they always die.
Darren loves to hear about animals dying. Oh my gosh, it's so sad. Okay. Okay, my word is inspired by Love is Blind. So has anyone here watched that show?
Never.
Yes.
Good. Perfect. Okay. So the word, I did not know what this was, but I looked it up on Urban Dictionary today, and it is bean dip. And it's not what you think it is. Something completely different. So what do you think it is?
Is it appropriate
I think it's
to
when
talk
you're
about?
stuck in a relationship.
No.
I think it's when you're stuck in a relationship, like a chip and bean dip.
That's a good one. That's a good guess. Dan, what do you think?
I'm going to say it's a mess, like a bean dip. Maybe there's lots of layers to something, but they're indecipherable, like a bean dip. It gets mixed up and you don't know what's what. Where does the sour cream start and the bean begins?
Yeah. Seriously, how are you even going to know? Okay, Darren, what about you?
Okay, hold on to your seats.
Okay.
I'm going to say when you've had a bad bathroom and you don't have enough toilet paper, and your protection from the toilet paper's not there, and it's called a bean dip.
What's getting dipped in that scenario?
I'm going to go ahead and stop you right there, Darren. So it is when you take your finger and you lift a man or a woman's boob with your fingertip, and you just it up, and it's called a bean dip.
Really?
Wow,
Yep.
I learned a new word today. No points for anybody on that one.
Yeah, I know. I knew I was stumping you, but remember the rules of the game were
You get 2. Yes, you
I
get
get
2.
two if you
Yes.
guys don't get it.
Yes,
So.
Jasmine gets 2.
I didn't hear that part, but go ahead.
It was in
Okay,
text.
so
In writing.
Oh,
And
you
our
get 2
guests-
points. I thought you meant
Yeah.
she gets 2 words. Okay.
2 points. Okay, so my word is it has 3 definitions in the Urban Dictionary. So I heard this word. A friend of mine heard this word. I didn't hear this word. A friend of mine heard this word at a track meet this week, junior high kids. But
Like,
it's-
was it the same friend that looked at the boobs?
No, that was a church event.
I don't know what we're talking about.
The
I'm sorry.
porno, the phone. The kids had porno on their
It's
phone.
because you would
Oh.
never hear a bad word.
Yes.
Like, where would you ever be that you would hear a bad word? But your friend might. Anyways,
Yes.
please continue.
Yes.
He knows
Okay,
me.
so yes, and Jasmine.
Hey, I've
Okay,
been so good.
you have been good today. Thank you. Okay, so it's poached or poach. Poached or poach, and it's not the definition of like stealing some, poaching
You're
a
not talking about eggs either,
player.
I was going to say, is it a cooking
No,
mechanism
not
for
the, not
eggs?
yeah, not those. It's urban. slang.
And it's not stealing. Hmm.
No, it's just not like stealing a worker from another
like-
company or something,
or like a
poached
poacher.
yeah, not like
Yeah.
yes, poaching an animal or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, not that.
It's not that.
I feel like what it means is like I'm cooked, I'm fried, I'm poached. Like I'm so poached after that
That's
day. of
really
work.
good. That's really good.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well done.
Is it right?
Honestly,
about
if
that,
I
but
was
really
poached
good.
after a day of work, I got a lot of energy left because poached is just lightly boiled and not overdone. So maybe it means
It is delicate. You're
I
right.
I have a lot of energy after my day because I'm poached. I'm barely
Okay, it's going the
I'm very
opposite of
boiled.
Jasmine. That's a really good way to go.
I like
That's
it.
a really
He's
good
gonna
way to
go
go.
the other way.
Yes. Dan, something
Spent too
entirely
much
different, I hope.
time in the hot tub. You're poached.
Yeah. Oh,
wow.
you
Wow,
like?
that's
That's
really
a true
good.
thing there. I've done that.
Okay, so 2 points for Greg. Poached.
Oh,
So I'm going to use it in a sentence here.
We had such good odds
Yeah.
too, with 3 definitions.
Matt only laughs out loud when he's poached and or watching our episodes.
Say it again.
So he's not like easily.
Matt only laughs out loud when he's
Is it like
poached and or watching our episodes
so like high?
to be really stoned.
Oh, okay.
Or the
Yeah,
next one would be when a man is stalked and picked up by a woman. Darren says, "Hey, how did you guys meet?" Jazzman says, "I saw him walking down the street and found him interesting. So I followed him, then I poached him."
So that's like stealing.
That's stealing.
That's like stealing, but
That's
not
like poaching an elephant, taking its
It's
tusks.
like that. You're making me sound very like cougary, like that.
You're not
but,
old enough to be a cougar.
It wasn't you I was talking about, though. I wasn't talking about
You
this.
said Jasmine.
I know, but not this Jasmine.
Another
It's very
jazz man.
specifically me.
Yeah,
It's a very common name.
The other one.
a different Darren.
Oh my god!
A different
so
Darren,
far,
too.
I've been a cougar, a stripper, a dog. What else? A princess.
Princess, yes.
We're like 3 episodes deep, and okay.
You're
Okay.
doing great.
And then the last
It
one
sounds so good.
is,
Sorry.
yo, let's hit up the pool for some cheeky late night poaching. I don't know who uses the word cheeky, but
Cheeky
Hmm.
poaching?
yeah.
I'm gonna start using it. I'm gonna start talking like that. That sounds like when you hear an English person speak and they say some crazy words.
Yeah, so it's
You
to
know?
flirt or hit on someone. So there you go.
Hmm.
Now you
That's
can use
kind
poached
of
properly.
random. And this came from where? The Urban Dictionary?
Urban Dictionary, yeah. Mhm.
Okay.
Urban Dictionary. Yeah.
I heard some good ones on Urban Dictionary today that I will share at a later date.
I'm
So
going
the
The hard
point-
thing about Urban Dictionary is that on my phone I can't figure out how to figure out how many people have upvoted it. So you can just go put a definition.
Yeah,
on
you can
there.
go put a definition.
You could be like,
yeah, it could be
Linda,
any, yeah.
the bitch from accounting who, you know what I mean? Like you could just put whatever you want. Have you seen, I send Darren these TikToks all the time where it's like what AI thinks you look like based on your name. It's like Ashley, Dan, Darren, Greg, Jasmine. And then it's like Linda or whatever. And it's like this hideous monster. And it's clearly like an ex-girlfriend of his or whatever. But it's perfect.
That's funny. Yeah. Yes.
Anytime I say I read an article or anything, just know that I saw it on TikTok.
I like
I thought
your new
you were
mic,
going
by
to
the
get
way.
rid of TikTok. You told me you were going to get rid of it.
I did get rid of TikTok for about 3 days, and then I got scared that they were going to ban it, and so I re-downloaded it.
Well, if they ban it,
Just in
the
case.
download's not going to work anyway.
Really? I'm pretty sure I'll still be okay. You know, I didn't get into TikTok until Trump tried to ban it. I only want to do something if you tell me I can't. It's literally it.
Don't make dinner tonight and bring it over.
You're banned from doing that. Okay.
All right,
so
Ross.
the points total is Greg has 4. That's the best I've ever done.
Okay.
Darren has 0. Dude,
That's the worst I've ever done.
that's the worst you've ever done.
I'm off
Dan had
Goose egg.
3 as our
You
guest. Well done, Dan. And Jasmine 5.
Wow.
She wins again. She always
Winner.
wins, except for last
I won
time.
$1. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
You did.
Thank you. Oh, twice. I get 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, yes.
I picture them standing up. Oh my God, Darren.
Sorry.
It's too much. Just way too much. I pictured a standing ovation on that. So, okay, great.
I don't know how
So
well
I
we did with
won?
the topic today. Yeah, you won. I don't know how well we did with the topic today. If we really got into the idea of, but I think it was an interesting conversation.
It was not
Well-
linear, Greg. You say that for it.
There you go. Dan got to share his story, which was way more interesting than any of us. And I
Yes.
think we'll have plenty of time to talk more about us. I don't want to reveal too much too quickly because I feel like it'll all come out eventually.
That's right.
Over time.
Not mine, and we shared a few laughs, so that's what's most important.
We
We're
have an
sharers.
episode to point my daughter to let her rethink everything before it gets
Well,
too
Dan,
far.
I think that your IQ is very high. Just from our limited interaction and conversation, I would say at least like 165. I don't know.
The
Thank
only
you.
the
I
only
appreciate
knock on his IQ is that he agreed to come on our podcast.
That
That is true.
A little questionable
And
on
he's
the
friends
street
with me.
smarts judgment.
That's definitely a knock.
No.
So-
we think you're great, dead in the middle.
Dud in the middle. Thank you. I love this. I love dud in the middle. I asked my wife if she could start calling me that at home.
What'd she have to say to that?
She's
says,
like,
"That's what
"Oh
I've
my
been
gosh,
calling
people
you
are so
for
mean."
years.
Yeah. She's
Oh, no, I'm just kidding.
People are mean.
No, I shout out to Mackie. Love you, dude. Keeping it real.
When are we doing bingo cards? Because first and last name is on Darren's.
Oh, I had first and last name. I had that on his.
I'm trying not to say names on here, so I'm being very, very good.
I don't know if we need to do that.
What? Well, I don't be talking shit about
Oh, man.
somebody. Thank God we
No, I'm
didn't use
kidding. I'm kidding, I'm
Thomas's
kidding.
last name on the one we released. Good grief. He'd have to move out of town.
Did Thomas listen to it?
No, nobody at
Oh,
work knows
no.
about this at this point.
No.
Thomas needs to.
Oh.
Things got to level out.
Maybe a couple years and then he can laugh.
Before we close out, can I go through my bingo card for Jasmine and see how many we hit?
100%.
I want to know I want to know what happened with Thomas. Is he okay?
Oh, yeah, somebody asked that. Actually,
One
of
and
our
where
listeners.
are you seeing those comments about that? I've looked for these comments and I'm
Yeah,
not
who's
seeing
asking?
No,
Who's
they're
asking
just
that?
texts from
From
friends who watched
friends.
it.
I
Okay,
see.
well he's
Personal
available.
text.
He didn't work Thursday and
He's
Friday.
available.
Well,
He's available.
yeah,
What do you mean he's available?
He's in
So
the
if someone's
dating
looking
scene.
for okay.
Like we know that he's dating.
Yeah.
So he took off Thursday and Friday to spend with his kids for spring break. They were off. So I haven't seen him since Wednesday. So I hope he's
That's
okay.
very sweet. That's a sweet thing.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, Greg, I do want to hear your bingo card. I'm curious.
First of all, Matt will be happy that you wore black. It's a good contrast. Secondly,
That's a
cursing.
bingo card?
No, cursing.
Well, because I looked naked on the last one, according to my husband, who was like, "Are you wearing a shirt?"
He was poached. Okay, so
He was poached.
cursing.
No.
So yes, check on cursing. I
So
heard at
any
least
cuss
Check on
word in
folks.
the history of the planet is her
By
word?
golly, I did.
Yes. California. I think I did hear California.
Oh
today.
yeah, I said that.
Nails. I don't know that you mentioned your nails today. I did see them, but no.
Oh.
You see 'em?
Okay. Fair. And a place that you used to work at that starts with an R.
I did not say
You
that
didn't
one.
mention it today.
I did
No.
not. Look at me.
So
Gross.
2 out
Yeah,
of 4 I got.
We're doing good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll have mine ready for next time. I don't know Greg quite well enough for a bingo card yet, but
Well, based on the number of texts that the gym.
yeah, we're getting
group sends
closer.
out, we
Yeah,
Every day.
they're heavy.
Yeah.
The flow is heavy.
Just something boring. Just choose boring topics. Encyclopedias, dictionaries, track shoes. Boring topics. The dud
Yeah, like
in the middle.
horsepower.
The
Of,
horsepower.
That's
horsepower.
a song.
Hey.
A dud in the middle.
Dud in the middle. Yeah.
I think I've heard that song.
I think I have too. I think it's who sings that? Nitty Gritty Dirt Band, maybe.
Nitty Gritty Dirt Band. Yeah. Okay. I'll look that up.
Seriously.
It's my new theme song.
Well, it was really great to meet you, Dan.
Yes,
It's
Dan.
nice talking to
you
you.
all.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, Dan. Thanks for going over on time. Appreciate you, man.
Oh my gosh.
All right.
Greg's having conniption
Until next
secretly.
time.
Until next time. And that's when you play the music.
Oh, I thought it's doing a cheer. Okay, I'll play music. I'll play different.
I want to hear this music.
Mm-mm.
You didn't hear it in the beginning?
That's different.
Yeah, it's different. It's the outro music. Why not?
Okay, I actually like it.
Hey, Dan. Don't turn your computer off for a while. It'll take a bit to upload. Okay.
All right.
The third PSA for tonight.
Man,